And welcome. We are live on My Tennis Coaching. My name is Steve Whelan, and yes, this should be the first of hopefully a regular live stream, webinar, chat, whatever you want to call it. Just trying to get out and sort of get more engagement within the different communities that I'm a part of, but also just get out there and sort of share ideas and hopefully share some sort of ideas, some challenges, and some solutions as well. Hopefully, as the weeks go on, more and more people will watch and they'll get engaged and they'll leave questions and stuff. I'm pretty much resigned to talking on my own today, which is absolutely fine. I'm used to talking on my own as well, so that doesn't bother me too much. But in 15 minutes or so, I will be releasing my next recorded webinar for my guild members, and it's all about how I develop a personal development plan for each individual player that I work with. It's quite an important topic, I believe, because I don't believe many coaches plan anything. In fact, I know most coaches don't plan anything. I've been part of coaching teams for a long, long time. And I think the amount of coaches I know who plan are in the minority. And planning is important because if you don't know where you want to get to, you're going to get lost on the way. You could end up absolutely anywhere. So planning is vital. And I think it's really important now, especially in this day and age where, especially in coaching, I think coaching's coming very generic and formulaic, and you have to look at some of the stuff national government bodies are putting out with products and pre-made lesson plans and pre-made structures. It's like, well, every session's different. Like, you can't have a pre-made plan going into a session, and if I use a pre-made lesson plan and you use the same pre-made lesson plan, it's going to be completely different. And I'm just a bit worried that we're now becoming into this generation of, okay, we want quick and easy answers. We want to lose the art of coaching, and we're just delivering a product, and we're just delivering sessions for delivering sessions' sake. So it's something I've been putting a lot of thought and sort of effort into over the last couple of weeks. And in today's webinar, at 11 o'clock, I'm literally going to show you in the webinar, okay, how I plan my individual player development programs, how I sort of analyze and assess a player's ability, and then how I come up with a plan of, okay, this is what we're going to work on over the next 12 weeks, and then with a bigger picture of the next 12 months if they're working at an aging stage. And I just want to have just a little chat about it in this pre-webinar, I guess, just to sort of, one, to promote the webinar, but also to sort of just put some ideas out there as well. So what is the problem with not planning? Like I said before, if you don't plan, you don't know where you're going to go. So you can get lost on the way, and you could end up in a completely different destination. Where if you have a destination in mind, you can easily plan the route. And the way I describe this to my players, it's a bit like a sat nav on the phone, or Google Maps, or Apple Maps. Most of my players, I don't know what a sat nav is, because they just, mums and dads just use their phones. So if you want to go and pick something up and you don't know the destination, you could drive around all day and end up absolutely anywhere. It'll take you probably the longer amount of time to find it. But if you actually put the destination within the Google Maps or Apple Maps, you then will have a pre-made plan. Okay, this is how you're going to get there. And that might not always go right. Yeah, traffic might happen, an accident might happen, you might get diverted along the way. It may take a little bit longer than you originally thought. You may even get there quicker than you originally thought, but at least you have the destination in mind. And I think when we plan programs with players, it has to be the same. So even if I'm working with a player in the short term over 12 weeks, I need to know where I want to get to in 12 weeks' time. So a couple of weeks back, the second week of September, I started planning this term. So I've got a goal at the end of term, December. Okay, so where do I want to take these individual players? And I have my opinions where these players could improve. They all have their opinions. I'll also have an idea of the demands of the game. So I'll have previous experience of players within that age group. I'll also know a lot of their peers within their age group. But I want to be quite specific as well. So in the webinar, what I do is I show you my challenge week. So week one, pardon me. Still getting over the cold. Week one is what I call challenge week. And I'll take the players through a couple of challenges. Now, basically the tests. Okay, so I'm testing their tennis skill ability. But I call it challenges because no one likes to test. Everyone loves a challenge, especially kids. And I think with kids, if you say to them, here's a test, they'll switch off. But if you say, here's a challenge, they switch on. Why? Because they play computer games all the time. And in every single computer game you play, there's a challenge to get to the next level, to beat your high score. So I call it challenge week. And we conduct a couple of challenges. We do a forehand challenge, a backhand challenge, an open rally challenge, a serve challenge. And then we may play some points as well. And within that challenge, I'll record the results. And that will give me an idea of where the player is at a certain parts of their game. So how consistent is their forehand? What type of rally tempo and accuracy do you have forehand and backhand? How's the serve looking? Is it consistent? Can they serve to certain areas of the court? And they're not rocket science, but at least it gives me an idea of where the player is. But it also gives the player a huge idea as well, because a lot of players have very high opinions in themselves and they think that their forehand is amazing. And then you challenge it and you record the result and you compare it to the national level. And I'm lucky enough to have some stats from under 8, under 9, under 10, under 12 of national averages of similar tests. And I can share that with the players. And it's interesting because they may think they're amazing, which is good. But if they want to get to that next level, that county, regional, national level, and they see the scores, what those kids are getting, then, okay, that's might give them some motivation as well. Okay, well, I've got to really go off and improve. And I'm a big believer in stats. Like, you can't argue with stats. Like, you may think your backhand's amazing, but if you're only scoring 3 on the skills challenge with your backhand and the average is 17, then, okay, we've definitely got an area of work there as well. So I'll talk you through those challenges and I'll show you a couple of video examples and I'll show you the stats as well. And I'll show you the stats of what my players got, or a couple of my players got a couple of weeks ago. And I'll show you some national stats as well. And I'll show you how they compare. And it just gives me a good visual benchmark. Again, it's not the be all and end all. When you do any type of challenge or test, it's all very subjective on the day. They may be having a great day, may having a bad day, but at least if I record those scores over time, it gives me much more of a consistent figure. But again, it's just a snapshot. It's just something, again, that I use to help build a program. And then when I build a program, I also get them to reflect as well. So we give them some reflection sheets and they will score themselves out of 10 in different areas. So we look at the head, heart, and legs. So the ability to focus, score it out of 10. The ability to learn and listen, score it out of 10. The resilience. And they'll give themselves a score. And then I'll take that away and I'll score it as well. And then we'll compare the scores. And to be honest, the players normally score themselves really high. And I'll probably be more harsh on the scores. But what I say to the players when I show them the graphs and the stats as well, it's the truth lies somewhere in between. Again, these are only your opinions. They've got an opinion, I've got an opinion. That's all it is. It's an opinion. And then the truth will lie somewhere in between. But if we're getting there or thereabouts, it shows that, one, they have great self-awareness, and I have great awareness of their game as well. So it's a little bit of a test of my ability to read the player a little bit as well. So I'll show you those reflection worksheets and stuff as well, and sort of how I work through them. And then I'll talk you through, okay, well, this is how I will then look at a program. So we'll look at a couple of players in the webinar. I've got an orange stage player and a green stage player. I'll show you their scores. And then I'll talk through, okay, well, based on these scores, this is what I would look to work on in the next 12 weeks. This is what I'd look to work on in the next 12 months. And it just gives me something to work from. It gives me a destination, like we talked about before, in Apple Maps or Google Maps, or if you're old like me, a SatNav or AA map if you're really old. It just gives me something to work on over the next 12 weeks. And why is that really beneficial? Pardon me. It's beneficial for 2 reasons. One, it gives everything a structure, gives everything a purpose and a reason. So the player knows what they're going to be expecting coming into sessions. It's not just made up. I know going into sessions, okay, what the theme is. And I'm not saying you have to go in and it has to be very explicit in terms of your lesson planning, like minute 1, we're doing this, minute 2. And in the webinar, I'll talk through, okay, what those players have done since we did the challenge week, and I'll talk through their lessons. And in a future webinar, which I'll film, because one of the players I'm filming every single week, after the 12 weeks, I'll show you that player's journey over the 12 weeks, and then we'll look at the destination. Did we actually achieve what we wanted? So this is like a long-term 12-week project, but it gives everything the structure, gives me a real motivation, because I know that the players now expecting the result at the end. It gives the player motivation and purpose as well, because I don't just jump in and say, okay, we're working on this. And you'll see in one of the videos that the second session in after challenge week, we sit down with the player and say, well, what would you like to work on? These are the scores. Where's the area that you want to work on? And generally the players will pick the areas that they scored low in, because they want to get those scores higher. And that's fine. Some of them may look at, okay, I really scored high on there, but I'm not quite at the national average. So I really want to try and get to that national average, because I think I can be a little bit better there. So the player has a huge impact in that. And it gives them the motivation as well, because they'll see the national averages and stuff like that. And if they want to get to that level, then it gives them that motivation. It doesn't have to be a national level, it might be a county level, or they may just want to beat their own scores. And that's the one thing that I say with all the players. Okay, the first rule is we beat our own scores. So in 12 weeks time, we should be seeing some progress in these scores. And if we're seeing the progress, then what does that do to the player? Gives them unbelievable joy and satisfaction and motivation to try and go better. So for the player, it's really, really powerful as well. And also, I've mentioned a few times there, we are making the player better, and we can track that progress as well. It's not opinion. Oh, yeah, Steve's improving. Oh, look, Steve's improving because his forehand's gone from a 7 to a 15 in that skills challenge. Wow, like he's really improved over the last 12 weeks. All that hard work, blood, sweat, and money's paid off. And then from the parents' point of view, how good's that? I'm forking all this money out, and like I can actually see progress. It's tangible. I can see it in front of me. I've got a nice little report. I can see it. What amazing. Cold's killing me. So from a parent's point of view, value for money off the scale. And like I'm thinking, this guy's a professional. This guy cares about my player, because he's trying to get them to that next level, and he's taking time to write reports and time to do all this stuff. Wow, okay. Why would I want to go anywhere else? Why would I want to go down the road to the other club where they don't do any of this stuff, and it's just very generic and intensity, and we'll just shout at them, and that's what we think performance is, or whatever. So from a parent's point of view as well, it's pretty powerful. And some of you may be sitting there thinking, okay, but yeah, Steve's not working with competitive players here. Absolutely not. You can do it with hit and giggles, and hit and giggles are your once a weekers. Like, you can modify and change the skills, the skills challenges to whatever you want. So again, in a group setting, if you're looking, I don't know, a TOTS tennis session, okay, 1 minute floor rally, how many shots can we get backwards and forwards in a minute? And then you write down the score, and then in 12 weeks you do it again, and you then produce a little report, and it says week 1 score, challenge score, week 12 challenge score, and you see the progress. So this is not just about players who are competitive. You can do it with any age and stage. And how much more powerful is that type of report than a very generic, yeah, did well this term, worked on the forehand, C shapes coming along really well, split steps good. It's not specific, is it? It's just generic. It's a bit like when you get those school reports that are all done by AI and computer, where the teacher just clicks a couple of buttons and generates a very specific comment. So this is not just about performance players. This can be any level. And again, it's not individual. In the webinar, the clips that I show you are individual sessions, just because it's easy for video and photo consent. But I'll talk about in the webinar how I do it for groups. And I've done this now for maybe 20 years, I think, since almost the start. Again, just thinking back to my upbringing in sport, like we always had this type of skills style report, because again, all the stuff we talked about, motivation, direction, journey, it's really important. And the guild members as well, if you are watching this and you're a guild member, you get all the downloads. So all the templates that I used 2 weeks ago for all my players, I've uploaded them into the guild download section. So in the webinar, I'll show you examples of all the templates, and I'll show you my templates that I use, and you get to sort of take them with you onto your own court as well. So that's a sort of added bonus of the webinar participants. You get to take all my templates as well. So it's going to be a really interesting webinar, and it's going to launch in maybe about 5 minutes now. I'm overrunning as always. So about 5 minutes time or so on mytenniscoaching.com. If you're not a guild member and you want to have access to that webinar, all you have to do is sign up. Go to mytenniscoaching.com, click on the big white button at the top, and there's 2 options to sign up. There's a mastery pass where you pay monthly, and there's an annual pass where you pay yearly. It's not that expensive. At the time of being live here, it's $9.97. That's English pounds. You can convert that into your local currency if you want. It's not that expensive. But for that, what do you get? Well, you get 2 webinars a month. You get a recorded webinar like today. You get a live webinar as well. So we go live once a month where I will deliver a topic, which sometimes the community will ask for, and I'll deliver it. Or sometimes it's a topic that I will sort of believe will benefit everybody. And then we sort of get on, I deliver some content, and then we sort of talk about it and share ideas as well. So you get 1 of them a month. You get a recorded webinar as well, like the one we have today. Again, various different topics, either player planning, constraint-led coaching, managing coaching teams, managing on-court, off-court admin. So there's lots of different stuff on there as well. You get 2 written articles, blog post, article post, whatever you want to call them. Again, various topics every single month. And you get 4 exclusive downloads every month as well, just for $9.97. But also you get the whole back catalog. So at the moment on the website, there's over 16 feature-length webinars. There's over 50 articles. There's 3 online courses. So there's a 12-week course, how to upscale your coaching business with a online mentoring program. And there's 2 shorter form courses as well. An under 10 coaching challenge course, which is about on-court coaching, and a coach blueprint, which is for, as a coach, how you can develop your own personal development plan. So you get the courses, you get the webinars, you get the articles, you get the downloads, the download section. There's lots of stuff in there. All my templates are in there. All my worksheets are in there. I'm going to start putting drills in there and lesson plans in there. So for $9.97 a month, you're probably getting a lot of content there. And that price probably isn't going to stay for a long time because it's a brand new website, it's a brand new community. But as it grows and the content gets bigger, I'm going to have to up that price as well. But if you do join today, you get that price for the rest of your life. So if you join for $9.97, even though the price will go up, and I probably will see that price doubling within the next 12 months, then guess what? You just pay $9.97 for the rest of your life. That price does not change. It's what I call my founding members price. So if you are really interested in coach education, if you're really interested in developing yourself as a coach, becoming a better coach on court, developing your tennis business, then please come and join the guild. It's something that I'm really putting a lot of work in, a lot of effort into, because it's something I believe in. But last but not least, I think the guild, what I'm trying to do is build a coaching community, because I don't just want to be me. I want it to be a big group of worldwide tennis coaches who are coming together to share ideas, to share challenges, but share some solutions. And we're trying to build out the forum part. I'm going to go live more and have discussions with coaches. A big bonus of the guild is you get to send me a video. You can send me a video, an audio, or a written message and ask me a question. I'll get back to you with a video. So I really want it to be a 2-way thing. We're going to have some guest speakers come in and do some webinars. We're going to have some guest article writers come in as well. So it's not just going to be me. And if you're a tennis coach and you like producing content and you want to jump on a webinar or a live or write an article for me, then it's a great place for you to get out there as well and get your coaching voice out there. So that's the guild. That's today's webinar. If you are interested in the webinar, head over to mytenniscoaching.com. Click the big white button, scroll down to you see the pricing plans, and pick whatever pricing plan is interested for you. And the great thing is you get a 14-day money back guarantee. So you're not happy with it, I'll give you money back, no questions asked. And if you consume all the content and you've had enough, you can cancel anytime as well. There's no long-term commitment here. I'm not in this to make money. I do put a lot of time in, so trying to justify my time and cover my bills is probably the most important part. But please feel free to sort of check that out as well. So there we go. I will go live again next Friday. It may be a bit longer on next week. I might do a sort of mini webinar to give you a feel for what my webinars are like. So yeah, stay tuned on the My Tennis Coaching Facebook page, at My Tennis Coach on Instagram, and the My Tennis Coaching group page as well, and YouTube, My Tennis Coaching. And I'll probably put something out later on today about next week's live. It'd be great if you can join us. It'd be even better if you ask some questions and we can have some communication as well. And if you ever want to jump on and sort of come on video with me, and when we have a discussion in one of these lives, hit me up, DM me, send me an email, steve@mytenniscoaching.com, and we can have a live chat as well, because again, I want this to be a two-way community thing. But apart from that, have a lovely Friday. I really hope you enjoy the webinar. If you do tune in, any questions, again, feel free to reach out. And until next Friday, I will see